I think the coolest part is that like I'm a member of so many people's families. And, you know, when I'm out in the world and they come up to me like they're talking to a friend that they see every day.
Hi, Miranda. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I am doing great. Congratulations on everything. I mean, 6th season, right? Coming up of Bunk'd, which is like pretty much a first for Disney Channel, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, the 5th season was a first, and now the 6th is a first. So we're just breaking down records.
When you started on the first season, how do you think your character has changed from then to now?
It's changed a lot. I mean, we first met her, she was a lot goofier. She was more of a kid, you know? She was, she seemed to me like more goofy, but still had so much of like that innocence to the world around her, which she still does. She's oblivious to a lot of things, but I feel like to now she's become such a great woman and such a great role model, and we saw her really grow up. I mean, she still gets into antics, but we've seen her go to college. We've seen her, you know, run a business now. She balances her friendships, and I feel like there's been a really huge arc for her over the years of also just adjusting to now in this season building a whole new camp and being in a whole new place and having to win over this town and these new campers. So I feel like she's really just grown into being a really good young woman. I mean, she's a strong individual, and I am happy that I've got to see that arc of her growth, because as much as I loved that more, you know, young side of her that was the camper counselor side, I really love seeing her be a woman in charge. I think that's really fun.
And you've gotten so many opportunities with this show. Obviously, we've seen your growth as an actor, but now you're writing, you're directing, you're now an executive producer. What has this journey been like for you?
It's insane. I mean, I'm really thankful to my Disney family that I get to grow and that they don't just, you know, put me in a box of just being an actress, because I believe I'm so much more than that. And I'm thankful that they do too. You know, I did stand up for 10 years before I was ever on the show. And so writing my own style of comedy was something I was used to, but them giving me the opportunity to write for all these other characters was awesome. And I feel like as a person, I'm more of like a natural like leader type. I like to, you know, lead and to help people, and I don't shy away from that. So directing has been awesome. I actually just directed the episode we shot right before this hiatus. So a week and a half ago I was directing, and we, you know, it's the best experience. I love it. I think that it's so great that they allow that, and executive producing is insane. It's so fun to be on that side of things and to see a whole new world with that. But it's great. I mean, being somebody that's in their 20s and excelling that much within a field that most people, you know, don't have that many opportunities, I'm very grateful. I love it.
And are you excited to bring this show to a new location? Because obviously after 6 seasons, if you're at the same camp, things can get a little stale. Now you're kind of breathing this new life into it. What's it like taking it to this ranch and bringing in some new characters?
It's so fun. I love the sets. I hope everybody loves them. They're so cool. I mean, the new characters are really fun. Being in a new space, yeah, it's all really exciting. We have a lot of animals because we're on a ranch. So almost every week we have you know, a cow or a chicken or a horse or something's coming through the door, which is really cool to me because I grew up on a farm. So I love that. But I do love this new space. I feel like it's brought out a lot of growth for the characters we already knew. But even within the new characters, the 3 new campers we brought on, you see them grow so much within this season. I mean, we're not even finished shooting it, and their characters have had such a huge arc, and them as little individuals too. But I love the new space. I think everybody will really like it.
What's it been like watching characters and these actors come through? Because this is, in a way, it's following real life of what a camp would be like. Campers are only there for a couple years, and then you bring in some new ones. And so we've seen some rotations in the cast. What's it been like watching them kind of come through your show, and then they go on to thrive somewhere else, and then you have these new ones you kind of get to help grow into being like these great actors?
I love that part. I mean, you know, it is, you're right. It's just like a camp, and it's always a little hard to see them go, but they don't. I mean, I'm still in contact with my old co-stars, and I see them, and they're growing and doing great. And bringing in these newbies is always really fun. I mean, it's interesting now, like our 3 kids that came on this year, they've been watching the show for years. And so they're huge fans of the show, and, you know, they come in and they're in this whole world of like, I'm within this space that I have, you know, looked up to and I've thought is so cool. So I love that. But it's fun. I mean, it is like being a camp owner, you know. I feel like I said, I still have the connection with all of them once they have gone on, but I love meeting the newbies and being able to teach them, well, have them learn the ropes, as ironic and cheesy as that is, but really that's what it is.
If you could have this, you know, epic episode where maybe everybody from throughout the seasons comes back, what would you like to see, and who would you most want to see kind of interact with each other that maybe haven't?
Ooh, that's a really fun question. I feel like I would be really excited to have Karn back, because Karn and I always had such goofy moments within our characters. Peyton, obviously, you know, Emma and Lou together is always so sweet and so fun because their friendship is great. So I'd be excited for them to come back. Who would I be most excited for for them to meet each other? That's a cool question. I probably would be really excited for, well, we have Will coming back, which is really cool this season, and he got to interact, which would have been the one I would have said, him meeting Luke's character Jake. I feel like that would have been too, and it is, they get along really well, and they get into all sorts of craziness. You'll see that, but man, I feel like it would be really fun to see Ravi and Parker together. I think that'd be really cool and fun.
What is something else that you would love to now do, now that you've done, you know, you've gotten to step into the show that you've grown up with, to do these things like direct and produce and write? Is there a dream to kind of take that outside of this show? Like, are you working on anything? Like, do you want to direct a movie or maybe a different style of a show?
Yeah, I would love to. I am really wanting to direct other shows as well. I love our show. But with our schedule right now, it's a little difficult, but that's something that I want to do in the future for sure, is direct. But something I really would love to do is to create a show. I think that would be awesome. And I am working on that and, you know, brainstorming some ideas and stuff like that. And I would love to be able to executive produce on that and direct as well. So that's what I'm doing on the creative side, but I definitely want to still act as well. I think that would be, you know, it's what I got into this to do, and it's what I love. I think it's what I'm meant to do, but I'm discovering other things like directing and producing and writing that I know I'm also meant to do. It's really fun for me, and I feel like comes naturally. So that is something I will do in the future for sure.
I love that, because I love seeing how Disney really has given people opportunities. You see, you know, Debbie directed and did all that with her show. A lot of people have started on their own shows and done that. And then you have people like Phil Lewis and everybody who are now directing so many things, and they got their start as well. Have you gotten any advice from any of those people? And are they like kind of mentors for you, like when you see their careers?
Yeah, I love Phil. I just saw Phil a couple months ago. He directed one of ours, and I love him. He always gives me really great advice, but one thing that I love about Phil is that he always keeps a set really fun, and he'll bring like a keyboard with him and play music and stuff just like in between rehearsals, which is really cool. But yeah, I know that I could text him for advice at any time, and he would give it to me. And there are multiple directors that I feel that way about. Bob Coher, he was my advising director. Like when I directed my first episode, he kind of helped me along the way with that and taught me a lot. And he directed the first episode of Bunked, and a ton of episodes within the series. But yeah, I love all of my directing friends, and they're always there for advice. But everybody within our set and all the different departments helped me learn those departments too, because I feel like to be a good director, you need to understand all of those departments. And to be a good producer and to be a good actress, you know, to do all those things, you should know everybody's job and the purpose of it, and, you know enough about it to understand why it's so important. But yeah, I love them. They're so cool. They give me advice, and yeah, I could always ask them for stuff.
What's it like to see this fan base of this show grow? Because I feel like once it got put on some of those streaming platforms, it really took on a whole nother life, and you gained a whole nother like international fan base and all of this. What's it been like to kind of see that grow?
It's been so cool. I mean, it's insane to me. Like, I feel like sometimes like you just forget, you know, like we're making the show and we love doing it, and it's, you know, my life. And then I think about like, oh, there's like millions of people that it's a part of their life too, every day, the way it's a part of mine. But yeah, when it went onto the streaming and all of that stuff, it really did. It blew up, and it's been insane to see how much this show has grown and how much people love it. I'm happy that they do. But I think the coolest part is that like I'm a member of so many people's families. And you know, when I'm out in the world and they come up to me like they're talking to a friend that they see every day. And I think that is the coolest part of the job, because it's just like I have a million best friends that I probably have yet to meet. But it's so cool. I love that people love the show, and I love that we're getting to keep it going and reinventing.
Okay, so last thing, what's something that you can tease, or what you're excited for people to see with this brand new season and this new setting and new characters?
Well, I think I'm most excited for people to see us in this new town and to meet the local townies and try to win them over. Lou has a lot of fun with winning them over, and there are some older ladies within the town that she has to kind of get past, and there's a marshal. There's just like, it really is an old Western town, and the environment that we're in, I think, is the most exciting thing for me, for all of the viewers to see, because it is, you know, Kikiwaka Ranch, and it's this whole world. When you love Kikiwaka and you're used to being in it, now we get to go through a new gate and see that in such a new place with all of these new friends and new animals. And I'm excited for people to see the new environment. I think they're gonna love seeing us figure out how to live in the Wild West, because that's definitely not Maine. So that's what I'm excited for.
Watch Bunked on Disney Channel. Yeehaw!
I gotta say, I'm pulling it off.